Hi, Miss Fore. How are you?
Anika, I'm fine. It's delightful to see you, even if we are socially distanced. Congratulations on your prize.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
So, Anika, will you tell us a little bit about you?
I'm Anika Chebrolu, and I'm a freshman in high school from Frisco, Texas. I live with six other family members: my brother, my father, my mom, my little sister, and my two grandparents. My favorite subject in school is science, and I've liked that for a very long time. And outside of science in school, I like to do Indian classical dance, paint, and have fun with family and friends.
Well, that sounds like a very full life. So, how did you find that you loved science? What attracted you? Was it a person, or was it a project, or an idea?
I think the main thing that helped me get interested in science was the constant, undying support I had from my family and even my friends. In about fifth or sixth grade, that's when I actually started looking at the world and seeing the problems around me and seeing how I could use my knowledge in science to solve those problems.
As a young scientist, your head is probably filled with things you'd like to do in the world. So, what are they?
I've been working on drug discovery for a couple years now, so it was one of my first interests in science. It started in about fifth grade when I learned about the Spanish flu, and then that kind of progressed to an actual idea and how I could use that and implement my knowledge of these viruses in drug discovery and the computational methods that I found out into an actual discovery.
I know a little bit about your current project because that is certainly something that would help the world.
So my current project is to find a potential antiviral against the COVID-19 pandemic, which is caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. I went about doing this using computational methods. So I took 698 million compounds and I narrowed those down selectively to about a couple of compounds, then I narrowed that even more to one compound. This one compound can bind to the spike protein of the SARS-CoV-2 virus and potentially inhibit it. So by finding a molecule that can bind to the spike protein, we'd be able to stop the virus from entering and infecting host cells. So what I did right now is only the first stage of drug discovery, so I'm in the process of contacting virologists and drug development specialists to do lab testing and further testing to develop this into a potent anti-coronavirus drug.
Well, it's very exciting and it's a very interesting way to solve a problem.
Yes, initially I started with the influenza virus. About 2 years ago, I got the idea for drug discovery using computational methods. And over time, that actually progressed from an idea to an actual potential discovery. I signed up for the 3M Discovery Education Young Scientist Challenge in February, sometime around that time, and I got chosen as a finalist for my influenza project. Around that time, that was when the COVID-19 pandemic was having its initial peaks. No one really knew what was happening. It was a first-time thing for everyone. And that was the time that I was paired with my 3M mentor, whose name is Dr. Mafusa Ali. And we decided, after a lot of collaboration, it was best to switch to the coronavirus and the SARS-CoV-2 virus because obviously that's made a much bigger impact than the influenza virus has done in the last year. And it's in desperate need of more attention and more antivirals and a potential vaccine to combat the virus and its aftermath.
It's a very smart idea because our world needs good young scientists just like you who come up with brilliant solutions. So excellent. As you look at COVID-19, because you've been thinking about pandemics, you think about the world before a pandemic, during a pandemic, and after a pandemic. So do you have some hopes or some dreams about what life should be like after the COVID pandemic?
In the future, I want to see a world where gender doesn't just define who you are and determine what you can do and what you can accomplish. I want to see more girls take on opportunities and careers in STEM specifically, and not be held back by these societal standards and gender discrimination that we've dealt with. I think that every girl, no matter where they come from, deserves an opportunity to take part in STEM education, and a good one too. And I hope more people start to accept girls and women because they're important in our society and they need that same voice and they need to be heard and participate in the world. We need to eradicate discriminatory approaches, whether that be in workplaces, schools, and most importantly, homes. We need to stop doing that, and with the support of communities, I hope that one day we can see this change in the world. We can see these more girls come forward in STEM and get that STEM education that they deserve. They're half the population of the world and they can put forward so much. They have so much potential, and each girl just needs to realize that.
Very good. Each girl does need to realize that, and we need girls. You're going to change our world, so we're all very proud of you. Who do you look to as a role model?
One of my biggest role models outside of my family is Marie Curie. In first or second grade, I was told to do a project on an influential person, and I didn't really know what to do, so I chose Marie Curie as my person. And I remember the more I researched about her, the more I found out about her, the more I was inspired and amazed at what she accomplished. She was the first woman to receive a Nobel Prize and the first person to receive two, and I thought that was just amazing, especially because she lived in a society which had extensively more gender discrimination than we have today, yet she still was able to overcome that and go forward, and she still was able to accomplish so much, and that really amazed me.
If there were a role model that was alive today that you would like to explore the world with?
Yes, my living role model is my brother. He's always been there for me, always just supported me and pushed me forward in whatever I could do. Whenever I was feeling down with my research, whenever I feel like I couldn't accomplish anything with my research, he used to push me forward and just give me that shove that I needed so that I could accomplish things.
I have a sister, and she's just like that too. When you are lucky enough to have one, you'll be friends for the rest of your life.
Ms. Fore, what inspired you to help the world? I know there's just a lot of people around here that need our help, and a lot of people that don't have this opportunities, but is there anything specific that inspired you to help the world?
So when I was growing up, Mother would tell us stories of people who had done something like Marie Curie or Albert Schweitzer. And it always seemed important to do something larger than yourself, to do something that might affect either a large population or a large corner of the world. And you never know in life what you can accomplish. But if you keep carrying the dream that you would like the world to be a better place for everyone, well, you'll be surprised at how many opportunities will open up, and you will have opportunities to serve in many different ways. And I grew up loving science. I just adored it. I was curious about how nature worked. I can see that curiosity lies in you, and when you place it in front of you, you then want to accomplish something for the world so that it's meaningful.
I think that's really amazing.
Well, Anika, we are proud of you at UNICEF. As you know, we work in the fields of health, nutrition, education, water, sanitation, and protection. And there are millions of children out there who need a lot of help in these days. So we are hoping that your research and your ideas will come to fruition, and that you will be able to protect many of them from diseases in the years to come. With young women like you, the world will be in very good hands, and we'll expect to see you out around in our projects around the world in the years to come.
Yes, I do hope to do that. It will be my pleasure.